Hi, I'm Riccardo. I'm 28 years old from Italy, and I'm currently working as a strategy consultant in a consulting firm. So has been quite a challenge to wrestle my preparation between the day-to-day activities that, as you can imagine, in strategy consulting, they are really unpredictable, both in terms of workload and timetables. And I started preparing in November 2024. And I finished and I've done my GMAT in April 2025, and I improved from my first initial mock, which was 585, the score, to my final 695 that I did on the GMAT Focus Edition. I did the online test, and I did not take it at the test center because it was more comfortable, and I thought that it will be much easier for me to prepare and to give the test at home. And the main thing that I really improved on was the quantitative reasoning, because already from the start I did pretty well on the verbal scores. I was consistently scoring 85 to 86, even 88 once. So I really did not feel that I needed to improve on that. Even if you have a nice score, it is still always useful to really study everything and every trick and tip that you can possibly get, because on exam day you might never know what will come to you. So even if I did good scores, I still, however, practiced it a lot and studied from all the materials that I could find, in order to ensure that 85 and 86, 87 were not a casualty, but they were. I was able to achieve them consistently. The main weak point for me was quantitative reasoning, for sure, because since when I started my preparation, I had very weak spots in quantitative reasoning. I even scored 73, 74. So despite my engineering background, quantitative reasoning was the main topic that I worked on. And initially I did only work with the OG materials, and I also purchased some other books in order to really grasp all the possible contents and areas that you can possibly find on the GMAT. And while I found that of course the official guides and official questions were the most similar to the ones I later on found on my test, I don't think that they go deep enough to really make you learn all the topics, but more importantly how to tackle every question. So I basically prepared only on this and on other sites for my first GMAT trial, which happened on by the end of March 2025. And on the first test, on my first official trial, I scored 635. I was pretty disappointed because despite having achieved an 81 in Quant, which was my best, my personal best, I really felt that I could extract some more value from my test, and so I decided to switch to TTP, because all the resources that I had, all the books that I used were maybe comprehensive, but they weren't going deep enough in order for me to understand really how to develop a structured way to approach these problems, because they will usually tell you some tips and some ways to shorten your way up to the solution. But usually if I found a question that was really not what I've been studying before, which is what happened in the exam, so you will never find a similar question in general to what you study, because they always try to tweak something and to change the question from what you see in the official books and what you see in the tests, because for obvious reasons. And so I didn't feel that they were deep enough, and I knew that I needed something more to prepare more in depth. So I tried TTP because from all the reviews that I read online, they said that it was really good in deepening your knowledge of quantitative reasoning, and I must say that it's true. I mean, there's no other way to say it, because in the month that I used it, I used it specifically to reinforce my learning on some key points, specifically combinatorics, probability, rates, works, and the number properties, for sure. These were my 5 topics that I found most difficult in Quant, and starting from scratch, really, from learning the properties of addition, subtraction, etc., all the way up to more complex concepts. And I must say that this was really the perfect way to tackle this problem, because not only for the end result, but most importantly because when I did my exam, I always felt like I had in 20 to 30 seconds I had immediately understood if I could solve that question or not. So in my exam I think I jumped, guessed 2 or 3 questions, because really I did not have a clue on how to proceed, but in the end those 3 questions must have been experimental or not valid for my final grade, because I missed around 4 questions, if I recall correctly. So the main topic is I was consistently able to understand if a question was solvable in 2 minutes and 15 seconds or not. And this made all the difference in the world, because I could really save a lot of time in tough questions, in easy question, and use more time to even double check my answers, because in such a time pressured context like the GMAT, you must be able to you should be able to double check in order to avoid math mistakes or careless mistakes. And so this is really my main point, that for that I would advise anyone to use the TTP, because it really gives you a completely focused preparation on what you need. Of course, you can I used it because I already knew what were my weak spots, but with the ability to create your randomized set of questions and then to really deep dive on each theme, I think that you can maybe do 5-10 randomized set of questions, and by using the integrated error log you will be immediately able to understand where are your weak spots, and then to really deep dive on them if you are an approaching deadline or not. So if you have lots of time, of course my advice would be start from the beginning and follow all the path, because that's the only way that you will be sure that you have tackled all the concepts, etc. But if you're time pressured, I would say do some sets of random questions, figure out quickly what your weakest points are, and then really focus and deep dive on them. And so I would say that in terms of key items and key parts of the website that are most helpful, yes, I would say the whole way that is structured. I mean, you can really follow, and so there is a path that you will have to follow, or that you can follow if you want. And this path, I think, is really efficient because really it covers everything, and also it teaches you some ways and some tricks that I have not seen anywhere else. But most importantly, that you might find that anywhere in other sites. But the fact that it has all been condensed into one site really gives you the ability to learn, knowing that you will learn 99.99% of the things that you will need for the exam, which is more than enough to achieve a top percentile score. So if the main question I think is, if I had to do it again, how would I structure my GMAT preparation? And for sure the number one answer for me would be I would start with TTP and really learn all the basics, and then work on my OG questions and OG mocks, because clearly those are the most similar resources that you can find for the original for the final test to the final test. But it will never be enough for a preparation to be especially to be sure that each trial you will give will maximize your chances to give to achieve a nice score percentage. So I will surely start with TTP for both verbal data and quantitative, because I also studied for data insight, quantitative and verbal, and all the section were really good. I mean, even in verbal, which I had some already high scores, it was they typically had some keys or some ways to read things that I didn't have it before, and that really helped me to focus and to strengthen my preparation. So I would strongly advise it, because it saves you a lot of time. It's comprehensive, and really there is no way in trying to save. I mean, for me it was not a problem, but if you are really keen going to do the MBA, you know that it's quite expensive. It's quite an expensive path, both for the initial commitment and the opportunity cost. But it's really worth to spend some $100, because I use the on-demand platform. So not the on-demand, sorry. I use the flexible preparation for my study, and it's an investment that it's worth making, because it really saves you lots of time, saves you lots of hassle to really wrestle between among different sources, to merge different sources. So I get it that it could be a question, so should I spend money to train for a test that cost me already $300 or euros? But I think it's worth it, because a really high score can both enhance your CV, because people that will review, even if you don't do the MBA, it's still an important metric to show, because it really shows that you are a top performer and really keen to learn and to improve yourself. And I would say absolutely it's worth to spend some dollars on this in order to maybe not include this part, but that's my thought, so I rephrase it. I think that even with it being an investment, and for some people could be a significant investment, I would really advise to do it, because it saves you lots of time and maximizes, I think, your chances of getting a nice score. So, and this, it's worth to spend something more now to prepare and to strengthen your application to the MBA, or also strengthen your CV, because it's something that in the whole let's say expenses of the MBA, it's really a drop in the ocean. So we're talking about not huge values, but this type of score that you can get with TTP really maximizes your chance to get into the MBA and to then enjoy all the benefits and that will follow. So I think that that's really the key point. In terms of I don't know if I have so starting from the journey with TTP, I really no, I already say that, so it's not that. So to sum up, I as I said, I gained a 60-point improvement from my test with TTP. Start jumping from 635 to 695, and I'm sure that TTP made this difference because the improvement was mainly related on the quantitative and the data insight, which were my two weakest points. And really I felt much more confident on my test day, because I knew that on all the simulation, on all the mocks that I gave, I was really seeing that I could tackle my and could identify a strategy to solve each question in a much shorter time than before. So this was really the great advantage that TP gave me, and of course to improve my accuracy, because if you do solve a question early but the question is wrong, of course it will be useless. But I think that it really gives you a comprehensive preparation on how to tackle the GMAT, and especially for me the quantitative reasoning part, which can be the part that you'll mostly need to grind, to work, because it's 19 topics, each very different from one another. So I would strongly, absolutely advise this product. So for any of you that watch this video, I really hope you can prepare as best as possible and achieve the highest score as possible on the test. And I will wish you really good luck for the test, and also your future applications. And don't hesitate to write me in for any further questions about TTP, as I would say, if I will do it again, I will surely start with TTP. So thank you, and have a nice day.